is day 1434. 1434 days since Richard was murdered there on the Fort Bliss footprint, and we still don't have his remains. So we have so much breaking news, and I'm coming on late again because we're just getting so much news. People are starting to come forward and give us information. And we received, we received a name. We have had this name. And now we have, it's been brought up again. And so we're going to share that with you today. And of course, I was working on a little meme about, the slobby globs of misinformation. The slobby globs of misinformation. Watch out. Group slobby globs will get you dirty. Will get you dirty. And, who's over there? Bob Moore. Bob Moore, who does not want to reach out to us when we have reached out to him no less than 15 times. Why doesn't he want to respond? Why doesn't he want to come to where the real investigation has always been? We have been the investigators. We've been the real investigators. And we still are the real investigators. Even though there are state and federal investigations going on right now, this is a teamwork because we have provided so much evidence that we are getting more and more and more institutional support every day. And these investigations are just multiplying with every new piece of information because we turn it in. We, of course, let them know, give them updates, supplement our reports with everything new that comes in. And you have to do that. You cannot keep anything. You cannot play I've got a secret game, right? You cannot play that. It's, that is not what makes our country great. Our country, the more that there are lies and peddling of lies and peddling of misinformation and these slobby globs of misinformation, the more that we have that, then you don't have the transparency. And without the transparency, where do you get the rule of law being followed, right? Then you can manipulate the law, you can abuse the law, you can misuse the law. The whole point of all of these open records is that all of the individuals that get paid by taxpayers are subjected to an audit, right? You can audit them yourself. You can say, I want to know the communications that led to this decision. I want to know where these monies go. I want to know who's getting these jobs, what determines these people getting these jobs that we're paying for. What is the vetting? What is the vetting going on? And of course, the more you do open records, the more you audit your representatives, your employees, because as taxpayers, they work for us. They work for us. And that's why we even have the record keeping, right? So that we can check on them, so that we can audit them, so we can, and I don't know if audit is the right word, but to have oversight, oversee what they're doing and check on them. And, American people, We're so trustworthy, and the system has been infiltrated. And that's why it's taken so long to get the big hook, right? The big stage hook, and grab Bill Hicks off of out of that chair, out of that office of district attorney for El Paso. It's taken so long because you have this infiltration, this corruption. People are so afraid because they're afraid that they're going to be exposed because it's just gotten so gooey and stinky and dirty. It's gotten so gooey, stinky, and dirty. We've had this slobby globs of misinformation, and they have interfered in our system. And the slobby globs have become very sticky. And you see, you have the usurper, Bill Hicks. He's a slobby glob of misinformation. He's a usurper of the prosecuting office for El Paso for Borderland. And we can't get him with all the evidence off, immediately taken out and put in the rightful district attorney, the holdover, according to the Texas Constitution. I'm learning so much. The Texas Constitution, the holdover, even though she might not want it anymore, Yvonne Rosales, but she might be afraid, because we know that her resignation, the signature on it is very stinky, globby. It's a slobby glob. I think it's a slobby glob. Her signature, and we know that she was. It was under duress, the whole resignation. We know that. 2020, 2021 into 2022 was just, really a time that I hope never comes again when it comes to slobby globs of misinformation. And so we know that Yvonne Rosales, the rightful district attorney for El Paso right now, is a holdover attorney. She should be there. She should get her boots on. She needs to get her courage up. She needs to get her courage up because amazing things are happening. And, there is a solution, a soapy solution for the slobby globs of misinformation. And that's the truth. That's the truth, and that's also the stars and their courses, because, you cannot change the course of the stars. You cannot change it. And you can see them, and they're so dependable. And that means the truth shall take down the slobby globs of misinformation, the bad leadership. So the stars and their courses fought against Sisera, and they beat Sisera. They beat Sisera. So you can call it karma. You can call it God's hand on all of this. That's what I call it, God's hand on all of this. But the truth will win all the time. All the time. And why Bob Moore wants to sludge around with the slobby globs, right? With the criminal slobby globs. We know that Leilani Hart is a slobby glob, a confirmed convicted criminal slobby glob. And, and she's very sticky. I mean, a lot of people have gotten the slobby glob on them because of her. And I hope this makes sense to people, because we know that she has a long criminal history. We know that we have communications. We have the evidence of communications between her and her husband, her ex-husband, because the divorce just went through, James Courtney Hart. But it doesn't change these communications, talking and corroborating about the incest, about the child sexual abuse, and more. And um, comes to the breaking news. The breaking news is the purchase of these illegal, the illegal purchase of weapons. The illegal purchase of weapons. Now we're getting corroborating information about the purchase of the illegal purchase of weapons by Leilani Hart. And so in her affidavit that was notarized, and you can say this is slobby glob of misinformation. No, but it's confirmed. These are being confirmed now by the communications between her and James Courtney Hart. Their children are adults now. And Travis Hart, I got sent information that he was on the Slobby Glob site, and he's like, what is this all about? What is this all about? Like, he doesn't know what this is all about. And, because we have the communications between Leilani Hart and James Courtney Hart, I don't think that Travis Hart is very happy about that, because the conversation, the family conversation of the sexual abuse of the children, of the incest in the family, of the criminal activity, doesn't make a family member happy when it's all put out there, right? It doesn't make, but we're taught, and I'm going to tell Travis Hart what this is all about. This is all about the murder of our son, Richard Halliday, for being a whistleblower against the Slobby Globs, okay? That is what this is all about. And I hope that he reaches out to us. I hope that he is paying attention to not just the Slobby Glob site of misinformation, but comes to us where we're telling him, we're telling El Pasoans, we have the communications between Leilani Hart and James Hart where they are corroborating what Leilani Hart had notarized and was coached by Tavita Nusa to file the confession, the affidavit, to the CID and have it referred to the FBI, and the FBI accepted it. She's never been arrested for it, okay? Because it's been corroborated by now, this information that we have, these communications. And of course, the FBI has witness testimony, right? I'm sure that they went and talked to Dallas Hart, and but of course, you had dirty agent Eddie Nieto. So, we are trying to be as transparent as we possibly can with what's going on. But one of the things that Leilani Hart confessed to was the illegal purchase of weapons. Okay. And so today we received information that, and I'm going to just reach out to him. If your name is Eric Sade, you're being dragged into this. Okay. You're being dragged into this, into, this whole case, and in connection with the illegal purchase of weapons. Okay, so if you know Eric Sade, if you don't know Eric Sade, if you can share this, and we've been sharing names a lot, but I think that he already knows, because we've known this. This is not new news to us. This is breaking news to the community. and it's just too much information is coming in mentioning his name, and he needs to know, because look, just a couple days ago we had the execution of a murderer in Texas on death row. Nobody wants to be connected to this case by cooperating, or let's just say sludging with the globs, right? The slobby globs. No one wants to be sludging with the slobby globs at this time. Never, ever. You never want to be sludging with the slobby globs. But you really, you've got to come clean. That we know, because we were there. We know. And we're seeing it with some people that are, I believe, Amber Chase. Amber Chase, who has been harassing us so boldly, so crudely, vile and vulgar, for years. And for months it was like daily, just the most vile and vulgar messaging to, kind of throw her slobby globs at us to get us to be quiet, right? To wear us down, to harass us, to threaten us, to retaliate against us for wanting to know what happened to our son, and saying the most vile things about our son. And I'm like, I don't care what you think about my son, but I want to know where he's at. And I don't care what you have to say, because it's just lies. They're just misinformation. They're just slobby globs. I don't know how else to put it. Stinky. And you know why they're stinky? Because what it does is it indicates that there's worse things there. That this is a cover-up. That's what they told us. For so long, this retaliation told us, indicated to us, that indeed something else bigger was there, making this major smell. And, of course, our son's murder is part of that. Whatever he was, and I believe that he was, with all the indications, all the evidence we have, it has to do with the child sex trade, child sexual assault, child trafficking, of course the weapons, and now we have Eric Said, attached to this illegal weapon purchasing. And the names, we've just submitted name after name after name. So, the file is not what people think it is, because we have provided the evidence over and over again. And we have, even at the national level, the CID saying that what Soto Hernandez put together was tampered with, is a botched file. That's a botched file. And so it would be very interesting to get the JAG file. Okay, very interesting to get the JAG file. So, and we should be able to get the JAG file, right? Oh, but it's an ongoing investigation. No, I think they need to release the JAG file. And if you're Amber Chase, I wanted to talk about Amber Chase right now, because she is deleting. She is sanitizing her online presence right now. What she doesn't understand is she's making things worse, because she is tampering with evidence. She's tampering with evidence by deleting her long history of retaliation against us, her threats against us, her bullying, her harassment, her slobby globs of misinformation. By deleting that, by sanitizing her online presence, she's tampering with the investigation, with evidence, which is a big crime. Why, you know, why would she want to do this? Crime after crime after crime. Unless it's an indication that whatever she's hiding is much bigger than tampering with evidence. You see? But what the message that we have is that we have taken the time out to collect volumes of this information, to preserve the evidence, and the integrity of the evidence and the integrity of the investigation. So I don't recommend deleting your site, sanitizing your site, because we have been, collecting. You identify the crime. It's nothing new that they were, for us, that they were criminals. I mean, just by impersonating the family of a murdered soldier is a crime. And so they were so over and over and over again, they were impersonating our family and to collect information. I didn't understand that at the beginning, but they were trying to intercept information. And now, now they're trying to clean it up, but we've identified the crime, and then you investigate and you collect all of the evidence. And that's what we've been doing. And then you can prosecute. And that's the way the law works. This is not anything new. It's not anything malicious. It's called justice. It's called, a criminal justice system. And here they were tampering with the election of the district attorney, who is the prosecutor, you see, which tampered with our son's case, which was a retaliation against our son's case, because we have evidence that Yvonne Rosales was looking into our son's case, and we have evidence that she was looking into El Paso Community Foundation's distribution of the Walmart Victims Fund money and how that was given out. So, this is huge information that we're giving out. You do not want to be involved in this case. If you're innocent, or even if, let's say, some of that slobby glob got on you, because I'm telling you, Leilani Hart's all over the place. And this Lydia Smith, we have information that Lydia Smith, by all measurements, forensic measurements, is Leilani Hart. So, she can't, they don't want to mention Leilani Hart. They don't want to mention the affidavit. Why doesn't Bob Moore want to ask questions about Leilani Hart's FBI accepted, notarized affidavit confession about a 7-year-old being sexually assaulted in her master bedroom by multiple members of her family. Like, that's like Dallas Hart in uniform. That's Dallas Hart in uniform. That's who she's accusing. Do you understand? That's where this was pointing to. She's accused. Somehow her family made her pretty upset because she went and had that notarized. And Dallas is not a child. His mother is accusing him of the most vile crimes. And now we have the conversation between James Hart and Leilani Hart that are corroborating long family history of this kind of crime. That's so destructive. It's so destructive for, you can say, oh, that's in the no. That kind of violence is a slobby glob. And it's sticky, and it's stinky, and it creates so many more problems in life. And it's all through this. And I mean, this Hart family had Hart childcare, and then all of a sudden that LLC is kind of like gone. What? And, they've had these LLCs and lots of them. And they're being protected. Why? There must be a big sticky mess out there from touching and participating with the slobby globs. And what that does is create a criminal, like St. Augustine said, this, a land without justice is just a band of robbers. A band of robbers, just thieves. And being a thief is so criminal because if someone catches you, whatever, you get very violent. You're not allowing small businesses or even big businesses to operate properly. You have high costs of living because of all the theft. I mean, you can go on and on and on about the broken window fallacy. Oh, it's just one little broken window, and oh, well, the window person gets a little, gets to make more money. No, it's a fallacy. Just because somebody has a broken window and the window man gets to replace it and make some money, but you have a violent society, and everyone gets poor. Even the window repairman that once in a while for these broken windows, but then there's extortion, and then there's the inflation, and then there's high cost of insurance, and then there's all kinds of stuff that will make him poor anyway. And if you've never read it, you need to read it. It's called The Broken Window Fallacy. And criminals love this broken window theory. If we can just break something, we can profit off of it. And initially, that might work. And then it turns into a disaster, an absolute stinky, toxic disaster. And I hope that makes sense. And that's why it's so important for people to understand that Bob Moore has made a very bad mistake by not communicating with us, by not getting our story, but by creating a slobby glob story of misinformation. to retaliate against our family, to mislead people about Richard, about his character, about the evidence that determined that he was dead and murdered on Fort Bliss. We have that information. And we have even more information than what we gave out to them. Because every day new information is coming in. And this whole Lydia's, the information about Nick Nofziger, Nick Brown Bell, being still active duty, being under the command of Major General Eisenhower, who soon is going to Washington, D.C., the biggest slobby glob of it all, right? He's going to go and join the slobby globs in D.C. And lose command. Be a deputy. So, he could do something great before he left, though. He could do a couple things that are great before he left. Before he leaves. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here. I need to do a live stream, when, it's daytime, when it's daytime and, yeah. But this is super important. It's super important to be able to live without worrying about slobby globs all around you. And Bob Moore absolutely has the power to do something good, and he's chosen not to. He's chosen the misinformation. We have tried to inform everyone, and we'll keep doing it, about our family, about Richard, and who we are, so people can understand. And the level of the lies that were put out were so absurd. It's scary because you think, oh my gosh, who falls for these kind of lies about their family? Our families are in trouble then. If they can get away with this kind of absurdity in their lies, when they smear, when they're covering up, because absolutely we knew it was a cover-up. But we didn't have enough evidence, hard evidence, irregularities, circumstantial evidence, like we do now, to absolutely confirm to everybody. Even though I said the unit knows, right? And I got in trouble for that, not big trouble, but, people were like, you can't say that. They might not know. Look, the unit knows. And so does the command. And so does the FBI. They know. And they knew that Richard was murdered, and they knew that it was a brutal murder. And for Bob Moore to not want to report on what's going on in this case with the declaration of death, wow, Halliday family. How, you must have given them the United States government some whopper evidence because you received the declaration of death when they were trying to put your son in cold case. That's the question. That's the statement from Bob Moore that he should come to us with and say, tell us about it. Tell us what evidence that you have. But no, he uses the prime suspect in our son's murder case, who's protecting her son, who's a prime suspect, the platoon leader of Richard Halliday in this murder case, to go slobby globbing with, to put out misinformation, to interfere in justice, to obstruct justice, to interfere in the case. And Major General Eisenhower, to mess with Major General Eisenhower. Because, see, the media is just that powerful. And, the thing about Bob Moore is he's connected to UTEP because his wife's over there at UTEP. Of course, he wrote the story with Angela Kacharga, part of UTEP. And now, I don't understand. The only thing that makes this make sense is that they were involved in crimes that were so big that they're willing to be this stupid, this criminal, to create even more crimes that they violate and be more culpable, be absolutely part of this whole cover-up, and maybe more. Because whatever Richard was reporting, and we know he was reporting to the Child Protective Services. We know that he did that multiple times. We know that he had evidence, hard evidence of it in video format that he turned in. We know that he was talking to FBI Houston, which is the human trafficking FBI office. We know that James Courtney Hart and Leilani Hart have a history of crimes against children. They have a FBI file of crimes against children. And they are the prime suspects because they were interfering, retaliating, targeting our family and our son. And now impersonating our family. And we know that they've impersonated Richard before and the family before. And we have hard evidence that they are impersonating to get documents that should go to the family. And now we're getting information that weapons were sold illegally. And the person's name that came into that is Eric Sade. So, was Eric Sade in the Army? Was Eric Sade in the unit? Was Eric Sade... Because, there's another thing that we've been learning, the difference between 143, 243, 343. 143 requires a support of fuel. Okay? Because they kind of go on their own. Whereas 243 and 343 are attached. They get support from whoever they're attached to. I mean, this is kind of like... Now, if I'm saying the wrong thing, please correct me. But we're getting the fuel thing, why 143 is so important, because they get fuel support, unlike 243 and 343. And if you're trafficking, you need fuel support. So, a lot of this stuff is coming together. A lot of new information is coming together. And, we're constantly reaching out to Bob Moore. Because you see, KTEP and KVIA and whatever, all these different, KTSM, they were just getting their stories from Bob Moore. They weren't doing their own investigative journalism to a large degree. So he was running the information for El Paso. So that's why this is so important. But we're asking all of them to reach out to us to get the right story. Or at least a good chance to get most of it right. Because at this point, we absolutely understand that with every story that comes out, not everybody has been following this for 4 years, almost 5 years. Yeah, and this is another thing. Richard's case is almost 5 years old because of his whistleblowing. His whistleblowing started before the Walmart mass shooting. Okay, that our investigation has showed that Richard's whistleblowing started before the Walmart mass shooting that happened on August 3rd, 2019. Richard's retaliation, the retaliation for the whistleblowing, started in January of 2020. Okay? So, absolutely 2019, he was whistleblowing. And our information is, and that's why there's a big connection that we can lay out for everybody between the Walmart mass shooting and Richard's case because of the audits. He was whistleblowing. He was whistleblowing. So, good evening, Danielle. Thank you so much. Yeah, the big news that I wanted to put out there is that you have people in the Slobby Globs that are deleting their accounts, and that is evidence tampering. We have collected, thanks be to all of you helping us to collect all of that evidence and document all of that evidence. So we have volumes of it for the integrity of the investigation. We're very appreciative for that. So we've been doing that, but they think that they're covering themselves up. But, we've been just doing this for too long to know that, it's just kind of like Chan, the soldier Chan behind FitFam, Jules Chan. As soon as I saw his LinkedIn, I PDF'd it. I saved it to PDF. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a soldier. This is a soldier. The same thing with Nick Brown Bell Nofziger. He's a soldier. He's a PR. He's public relations. He absolutely knows Bob Moore, okay? And he's in hand over there in Slobby Globby group, right? With Bob Moore. Because they have a long history together. And it's, why? Why would you want to do that to a family that has a murdered soldier son. It doesn't make any sense unless the crime is so big that they're covering up. So that is really just about it. And then letting everyone know that people are being brought into this because the writing's on the wall, so to speak. The writing is there that all of this is coming together, and we have confirmation of state and federal investigations going on right now. And the way Eisenhower is leaving is interesting. So, they're going to protect their brand, but it is interesting. And he's going to be a deputy, Rob was telling me, over there in D.C. It's kind of like Clem Coward. They made him in charge of sexual assault. Can you believe it? Clem Coward. Yeah. I think they did that on purpose. I don't know. Bob Moore is part of that obstruction to justice team. Yes, absolutely he is. He's absolutely. And, and there's a couple other names over there. It's kind of like, Nick, who gave you the orders to do what you're doing if you got orders to do it? Did you get orders to do it, Nick? You just did it on your own. You have to answer to Allie Payne Scott, and you just did it on your own over there. You're in Disneyland and California. You're part of the original emergency response team for Richard's case, and then you get this sweet little assignment over there in California at Disneyland. And what do you spend your time on? Were you ordered to do it? To be a slobby glob of misinformation? Day in and day out? Of harassment and threatening. And they placed our son's photo on top of a recently executed death row inmate. And now, just a couple days ago, we had another executed death row inmate for murder and rape. Murder and rape. This is a capital murder case. And, we're even reaching out to, and geez, I wanted to start with this, but today's been so much information coming in. But we wanted to reach out to those that are over there at the Blue Party Hall, because we're getting information about the Blue Party Hall, of those that are involved in the Blue Party Hall, which is in the same building as Nadal Bayim. The same building as Nadal Bayim. So what is his, is he part of the Slobby Globs? And they absolutely will impersonate. They will steal identities. And Leilani just changed her name again. And by all forensics purposes, if you are Lydia Smith and you're not Leilani Hart, let me know. Because right now, it is like, if you say Leilani Hart, I'm thinking Lydia Smith. If you say Lydia Smith, I'm thinking Leilani Hart. Because why doesn't the Slobby Glob group talk about the affidavit? Talk about the corroborating evidence between Leilani Hart and James Hart and their communications together. Why doesn't that group talk about the illegal purchasing of weapons And if I was Eric Sade, I would get over there and talk about it. Unless, unless you have something to hide. Um, yeah. How evil. Yes, absolutely. Part of their psyops affair is what that should be called. Absolutely. Well, you're more sophisticated than me. I call it the slobby glob group. That's what we came up today. The slobby glob group. That's really stinky, and they're over there mass gaslighting. And Bob Moore is participating in that, and Ruggiero is participating in that. And Ruggiero, uh, you know, what this tells me that Richard's first sergeant that did not want to communicate with us. I mean, like, why? Why? Oh, I might put your name out there. Well, you're the first sergeant. First Sergeant Ruggiero said this. That's how it should be. Captain Park said this. I mean, First Sergeant Ruggiero has the responsibility of our son. He should have been willing to speak with us. We have him on record where he says he doesn't want to speak with us. Why? And that was really early on. We were very, very sweet then. Now we're like, I think we need to put the lethal injection on the table here. I mean, what is he hiding? And why is he over there by the slobby globs? He should absolutely not be with them. And, that is indicative that Dallas Hart was Richard's platoon leader. Because, the platoon leader really doesn't have much to do. They could spend a lot of time being up to no good. So, yeah, it's psyops affair. I like that. I like that. That's very nice. Is what they should be called. Yep. So, all right, everyone, that is like huge, huge news, and there's just a lot of good things happening, and we're just swamped with information coming in that we're reporting, and we're reporting it. We're reporting it. It's all being reported, and I think that this is the important thing: is not thinking, oh, they're not going to do anything. Oh, we've been infiltrated. No, you've got to report, report, report. Because what does the Bible say? Even the unjust judge, will give justice. If you just report and report and report and report and report. And so, just in every direction. And don't give up. It's a fight for, it really is a fight for our whole criminal legal system. So, we're reporting it. We've reported it. Bob Moore, a lot of these investigations, they don't let you know, oh, we're looking into you. But he has some IRS problems. I can tell you that much. And we have state and federal investigations going on. And I don't know if we can correlate what's going on with Major General Eisenhower with this. But we will see. We will see. And I don't know if we can correlate Amber Chase deleting everything, trying to sanitize her misbehavior, her illegal behavior, her vile, vulgar, indecent inhumane treatment of our family. Um, yeah, so it'll all come out, and as soon as we know, we will let you know. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I will uh, be here tomorrow. Talk to you tomorrow, God willing.